Hi everybody, for those of you new to the channel, I'm Teresa Perrin and I want to discuss Helbiz and the massive shorting that continues to occur and the massive volume that we saw on Friday. And before I begin, please remember that nothing I say is financial advice and always do your own DD. Helbiz is a stock that I have been following now for the past 2 years, but more specifically over the past 6 to 9 months, I've been really intrigued by it and its movement and what's been happening. So I do know quite a bit about the company and am heavily invested in it. I do believe that Helbiz has a huge future ahead of it and that it has been attacked by these criminals on Wall Street. And I'm happy to say that Salvatore Paiella, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, because I think I'm pronouncing an Italian name with a Spanish accent. But I believe he is joining the fight against shorts and that we are going to see more PR coming about this in the coming days. Please remember, guys, that he is limited to what he can say in regards to, giving people information and things like that. And he follows the rules as he should. This company, I feel, is under a slew of attacks, and unfortunately, right now, his one job is to ensure that the market cap stays above 35 million, which he needs to get it back to, which is why you keep seeing these offerings drop. I will make a separate video in regards to that because it's a quite complex one. I did touch on it briefly, but I am seeing so much FUD out there that needs to get addressed. And since he legally can't say anything, and I have no connection to him whatsoever, just to be perfectly clear, I can though, because I'm an investor and I'm seeing illegal activity occur in this company that we all need to be aware of. And I'm going to say alleged illegal activity because nothing's been proven yet. But I believe we are getting closer and closer to that coming to fruition, not just with this stock, but obviously the GNS movement is huge. And I would encourage all of you that if you have a company that you're invested in and that you care about, that you contact that CEO and get them to contact Roger Hamilton of GNS and Wes Christian, the attorney that's handling this, because the more companies that get on board and fight this, the harder it's going to be for the Wall Street crooks to prove a case. It's one thing when one company says it, it's another when dozens or even hundreds of companies come after them. And this has been going on for years. Quite frankly, I've been in the market for well over 20 years now. But guys, I've never, ever seen it this bad and this blatant. They don't even care anymore. They don't even try to hide it. It's like a big F you. We're going to do what we want to do and we can get away with it. And I would highly recommend that if Wes Christian's watching this or Salvatore's watching this, or Roger, if you're watching this as well, I would highly recommend that you have the former director of the FBI start looking at the top. There is a key to this puzzle, and there's a couple things that need to be looked at. First, what's Gary Gensler's connection to all this and the SEC's? Why isn't rules being made to stop this illegal activity that's occurring? Why are rules in place that allows this to keep happening? If I have one car and one title, and I go to sell that car to 5 different people, I would be in jail. Yet, why is it that there's 10 million shares of a stock, let's say, and they can go out and sell hundreds of millions of shares of that same stock and short hundreds of millions of shares of that same stock? That is criminal. And yes, there's laws in place, guys, that's allowing this to occur. That's why they're saying a big F you and they don't care. It is sick. It is so beyond sick, it's not even funny. But let's get on to what we came here to talk about, and that's the massive shorting that continues in Helbiz. And please remember, nothing I say is financial advice. I am not encouraging you to buy, sell, or hold any stock. Always do your own DD. If you could, smash that like button for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. Now let's Okay, so let's start with Helbiz. On Friday, it ended up being up 8 cents on the day. However, it did go up to over 36 cents and change. Prior to it coming back, pulling back, consolidating, dipping, and if you follow me on Twitter, I said expect a false breakdown before the next leg higher. And why did I say that, guys? Because oftentimes you see that happening. However, to be quite honest with you, it dipped maybe another penny or two more than where I would have expected it to. But I think people got scared and started selling. But then just like I stated, we saw that next rip up, which occurred in the after hours where we were up an additional 20.77% or 4 cents. Now, I believe that Monday we are going to continue higher. However, please keep in mind, and this does not necessarily mean it's going to go back there, because even though there's no gap on the daily chart, there is a gap down around between 13 and 14 cents, I believe. On the intraday chart, there is no gap. On the daily chart, I believe we created a gap down around 13 to 14 cents. I have seen this in several charts as of late, and that doesn't mean it's going to go back there today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or ever for that matter. However, a lot of times it does go down, and if it does, that's going to be my opportunity to load the boat even further. I did take advantage right before it made that first big rocket up to 36. I bought 1,000 shares, and then when it dipped back down and it hit that 19-20 cents before rocketing again, I bought another 2,000 shares. So I was very excited to have that opportunity, and thank you to Alibaba calls that I was able to make good money on those and put it into Helbiz. So guys, there is no doubt in my mind that in a given time, Helbiz will resort back up to the double digits. I firmly believe the stock is very, very undervalued at this price, despite the forced dilution, which again, we will get into later on in a separate video. However, it is still very, very cheap. This company expects to be profitable by the end of this year. It's had acquisitions. It's doing great things. And guys, I strongly believe once we can get the shorts away and off our back and this illegal action stops, that you will see a huge spike in Helbiz's price. Now, when I say this is going to double digits, hold up here. I'm looking at a long-term horizon. Just like it took over a year for it to get down here, it's going to take that time to go back. However, I was not wrong about Kaba. And those of you that followed me in that run from 88 cents to it closed its gap on this week, I believe it was on Thursday, to $11.60, went a little bit over that. And now it's retracing, and I think it's going to go up further. But at any rate, I wasn't wrong about that. And that took a 3-month time span approximately, maybe even 4, maybe even less. But anyway, somewhere around 3 months, let's say. And over that time, it did go to those levels. Guys, I have been doing this for over 20 years. When I am confident in something and have reason to believe it, there's a reason I'm saying it. I'm not creating FUD. Now, obviously, my first goal is to get this NASDAQ compliant and over $1. But look at what's still happening. We traded, at the time I took this picture, 644.15 million shares. Let me just confirm. Oh, okay, this is at the end of the day. That's what I was checking because I took this shot this morning. Look at this. Our free float, according to Webull, is 81.19 million. However, guys, if we look at what is showing on Ortex, it is over 100 million now with the additional dilution. So I think it's at 110. I thought I took a snap of it somewhere here. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I have it, but I don't think I do here. But I did see something where it showed like 110 million. So let's say we take Ortex into account and that 110 million shares. Well, guys, that would mean it changed. It still traded 6 times the entire float and more than 33 times the average daily volume. This is huge. But yet you'd think with them having eyes on it that they would knock off their crap. But did they? No, guys, they didn't. Now, I am very disappointed in Fintel lately. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you because this shows our short interest being 1.5%. Give me a freaking break. It traded over the entire float short yesterday. How could the short interest be 1.5%? Does that even make sense to anybody here? The short volume off exchange rate was 52.25%, and it was even higher when you added in the total short. Guys, this is insane, and this is not accurate. You know, if you think it has a low short interest, think again. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these stocks that move like this, or that have huge moves, show for some reason in Fintel to have a low short interest. I don't know what game these hedge funds are playing or where they're hiding it, but that needs to be figured out because this is not accurate at all. And look at this. Despite the fact that they traded the entire float 6 times over, suddenly, miraculously, they went from closing out the day yesterday with only having 3,300,000 shares available to short. Well, la-di-da, look what's happening this morning. Miraculously, now there's 5,700,000 shares available to short. It's Saturday. Where are they getting shares from on a Saturday? Oh, that's right. F3 override. They are magically creating them, guys. They are synthetic shares that they are using to short. And they're going to keep doing this. And seriously, Salvatore, I know you're watching this because you told me you watch every single one of my videos. So you need to find out what the heck is happening here and where they're getting these shorts from to continue naked shorting you, because this is the illegal action that's happening. Please, please ask Wes or ask Roger, now that you're in contact with him, what company, what firm he hired in order to start watching every single move that's made during the day as far as the shorting goes, because you need to get that answer. This is where you're going to find a lot of the manipulation and corruption is occurring. I promise you that. And I wish I could give you more, but all I can show you is what's in front of me. So hopefully these videos are helping you. All right, guys. So that being said, this gets even more puzzling because the end of the month ended 12/30. And on 12/30, there were no shares, or else it would be on the failure to delivers here. There were no failure to delivers on 12/30. That's another thing. Find out. There's no option change. So where are they hiding these failure to delivers? I promise you they're being hidden somewhere. And the key is going to be to find out where they're getting hidden. Now, look at this. Way back in November when we had that spike, look at how high the FTDs went up to. Then they just magically got erased. Even on 12/22, we had 2,600,000 admitted failure to delivers. Now, tell me, if we had 2,600,000, but yet the next day we were down to 113,000 because the price dropped 2 cents, I just find it very odd to believe. And keep in mind, guys, their goal and the reason why they're driving down this price is because when these FTDs add up, they're driving it down to get people to get scared and to sell. That is their purpose, and that's how they're trying to cover these. But I don't believe that there's none. I believe with what they're trading this at, maybe during this time when volume was drying up, because it did start to dry up over the last couple of weeks, people were selling, getting scared, taking a loss. You know, I understand it happens. People look at this as trading and not investing. I personally am invested in Helbiz. This is not a trade for me. You know, I want to see Helbiz do very, very well in the future. That being said, obviously, if I see them short attacking it, I don't know what I'm going to do. But, guys, this is just craziness. And right now, I just keep accumulating my position because I know when we take off, we're going to take off hard like GNS did. And I am confident that that's going to happen. Here's some more interesting, fun facts for you. Let's take a look. Oh, so just so you know, according to Fintel, I started asking myself, how is it they're getting these numbers and coming up with this? Because, first of all, supposedly, shorts aren't required to report their position under the old rules. Well, then this new rule came out where they had to report it supposedly every 2 months. Well, clearly it doesn't look like they're really doing that or not doing it accurately, because Fintel says themselves that is short interest self-reported and therefore unreliable. Short interest is not self-reported. FINRA and U.S. exchange rules require that brokerage firms report short interest data to FINRA on a per security basis for all customer and proprietary firm accounts twice a month. Okay, is there some loophole where it says for all customer and proprietary firm accounts? Is there some other account that they don't have to disclose it to that they're now hiding these in? I would take a look at that. Around the middle of the month and again at the end of each month. Because guys, where are all of these shorts going? How are they magically disappearing all of these FTDs? And watch, it'll be very interesting to follow and see what happens. But when they're naked shorting this to the extent that they are, where are they going? They have to go somewhere. Where is it? That's the key that we need to figure out. Now, are dark pool trades counted in short interest figures? Yes, they are. All right, guys. Well, we can see right here that every single day, this is the short volume ratio in the dark pool. It's called FINRA short volume ratio. So this is all the dark pool trades and the shorts that are occurring in there. The lowest over the past 2 weeks has been 49.4%. Guys, averaging over 50% every single day, which is how they are managing to drive the price down. They have control. As long as they have a high number here, they're able to control that. And look, on average, it's been between that 49.4, the only day it was under 50%, and just barely, all the way up to 59.27% of all trades have been shorted. And yesterday, despite the news coming out, it's like they just want to say, oh, sorry, that's an old article that I was researching. It's like they just want to say F you. Seriously, because yesterday of the reported trades, now look at this number is showing you only 489,435,722 shares. Well, clearly we know that it was much higher and that it was 644.15 million shares traded. But of these, 55% were reported short. I'm willing to bet that these ones that they're not disclosing are probably short too, which would therefore make this number much, much higher. And just so you know why these numbers are different, because not every exchange reports the daily short volume free of charge or at all. So total volume in this table will be less than the daily volume at the top of the page. So guys, this number they're not reporting, I'd love to know. Love, love, love to know where it's going, because it's somewhere, that's for sure. I don't know, but it's a pretty messed up world that we live in. Now, failure to delivers on average for December was 350,706 every day. That was the average daily number. But looking at this chart here, you can see clearly in December, failure to delivers were spiking. Price was driving down, lowest it's ever been. And look at the failure to delivers just spiking. Guys, this is corruption at its finest. This is going to explode when it does. Just look at this chart from here. You can see that this is making a massive wedge that's about to have a huge breakout, in my opinion. But anyways, that's what I have for you. The shorting's continuing. Price is just a number, in my opinion, at this point, and it's all a bunch of garbage. So, you know, I'm in it to win it, and I can't tell any of you how to trade or invest your position. That's on you. Only you can make that decision. And obviously you have to make a decision that's best for you. But as far as I'm concerned, if you want to see an AMC or GME type movement here, then we have to get people hopefully building positions in Helbiz to invest and hold them until they get to a desired price target. That's the best way that we can smoke these shorts, by not giving them an opportunity to swap out on our sales their shares that they're illegally naked shorting. But again, it's your money, and I understand that it's a scary place to be holding anything overnight. So you have to play however it's best for you. And I wish everybody the best of luck. Salvatore, I know you have a battle ahead of you. And guys, I will be making a video later on this weekend in regards to a lot of the FUD that people are spreading and why it's getting spread and the reality behind it. Because if you think for 1 minute that this CEO is choosing to dilute his company that he has huge ownership in because he wants to, you're very, very misinformed and sadly mistaken. I promise you, he's trying to keep his company on the NASDAQ, and in order to do that, he is being forced to. And this is just another criminal activity that Wall Street is using to try to take over control of his company. And Salvatore, if you're listening, you probably are well aware of this, but please be careful, because I know you have to do this right now to dilute. But right now, the more that they're buying of your shares, the more ownership that they're getting into your company, and they can try to essentially bankrupt it by choices and votes that they make. So please be very, very careful and keep that in the back of your mind. I promise you, I don't know enough about the company that you have an agreement with, Yorkville, but I don't think there's anything good that can possibly come of it. I don't know if there's a way to set up an agreement maybe with yourself instead of buying shares through the public market. If there's a way for you to invest outside to increase the flow. I don't know how you would do that. I don't know enough about the laws that stipulate your agreement, but I know they say it's an investment, but if they own more than 10% and have a voting right in your company, there's going to be issues to come through the years. Keep that in the back of your mind. Anyways, much love to all of you. Hope you have a great weekend, and Helbiz is going to rock it. As soon as Salvatore announces, that he officially is in the GNS fight and has hired the FBI agent in West Christian, you just wait and see how high this rockets. And hopefully he can do that sooner rather than later so that we don't have to have continued dilution. Because I promise you, at 110 million, 25 million, 25 cents with 110 million in the free float, plus whatever is not in the free float and whatever whatever warrants are in the picture as well adds to that number. But as you can see, Webull showing 129.61 million shares outstanding. Hold on real quick and I'll do the math on that, but I think that this is wrong. I think there's still another roughly 29 million that they're not accounting. Hold on one sec. Okay, guys, I just did the math out using the 129.61 million plus the last dilution that we got on Friday of 8 million, and I got 34.4 million. What I don't think is included is the 6 million from the other day, which would bring us over, or from Thursday rather, which would bring us over the 35 million threshold. Further conviction in my eyes that the reason that this is being done is 100% because he needs to keep it above the market cap. And if you priced it at what the 20 cents that it closed at with what the numbers are from Ortex, and you subtract, you did the 110 and you added the 30 million, blah, 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 you would get the same thing. You would get over 35 million. 100% he is doing this to maintain that minimum listing requirement. There is no doubt in my mind. And, it stinks for him. But anyways,